Listen, I'm going to be blunt with you. While everyone's panicking about AI taking their jobs, they're asking the wrong question. The real question isn't, will AI replace me? It's, am I making myself irreplaceable? And that's exactly what we're diving into today on KB Bluetree. I'm going to show you the specific skills that no algorithm can replicate. And more importantly, how to build your career around them starting this week. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap to position yourself in the one category of workers that every company desperately needs but can never fully automate. So stick with me, because this isn't theory. This is your career insurance policy. Problem. Here's what's keeping you up at night. You see the headlines about AI writing code, designing graphics, analyzing data, even making strategic decisions. You look at your daily tasks and realize that, yeah, a lot of what you do could technically be automated. That pit in your stomach? That's the fear that you're becoming obsolete in real time. And it's not just paranoia. You've probably already seen it happening. Tasks that used to take your team hours are now done by ChatGPT in seconds. Tools that cost your department thousands are being replaced by AI subscriptions that cost $50 a month. The ground is shifting beneath your feet, and nobody's giving you a clear answer about where to stand. But here's what's really frustrating. Everyone's telling you to adapt or learn AI without explaining what that actually means for your specific career. You're supposed to magically transform yourself while still hitting your quarterly targets, managing your team, and dealing with everything else on your plate. It feels impossible because you're being sold a false solution. The advice you're getting is surface level. Become an AI prompt engineer. Learn to use these tools. Embrace technology. Great, but that's like telling someone their house is on fire and handing them a garden hose. You need a real strategy, not buzzwords. You need to know which of your skills actually matter and which ones are about to become worthless. And the worst part? The silence from leadership. Most companies haven't figured this out themselves. They're implementing AI tools without a clear vision for how their workforce fits into the future. So you're left guessing, hoping you're investing your energy in the right areas, but never quite sure if you're building the right skills or just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Here's the deeper issue that nobody's addressing. The problem isn't that AI is getting smarter. The problem is that most professionals have built their entire careers on skills that were always automatable, just didn't have the technology yet. For decades, being able to process information quickly, follow complex procedures, or produce consistent output was enough. Those were valuable skills in a pre-AI world. But we've been confusing efficiency with irreplaceability. We've been rewarded for being fast, accurate, and consistent, which are exactly the qualities that machines excel at. The entire education system and corporate training infrastructure was designed to create human processors. And now we're shocked that actual processors are better at it. The root cause runs even deeper, though. We've systematically devalued the most human parts of professional work. Empathy gets dismissed as soft skills. Creative problem-solving gets crushed by standardized processes. Strategic thinking gets replaced by best practices and playbooks. We've spent decades trying to remove human variability from work, and now we're surprised that machines can do it better. This is why learning AI tools isn't the answer. Tools change every 6 months. If your value proposition is, I know how to use the latest software, you're building your career on sand. The companies that survive this transition will be the ones who figure out how to combine AI efficiency with irreplaceable human judgment. And the professionals who thrive will be the ones who position themselves as that irreplaceable element. Solutions. Here's what actually works, and I'm going to break this down into a framework you can implement immediately. At KB Bluetree, we call this the Human Edge Framework, and it's built on 3 pillars that AI fundamentally cannot replicate. First pillar, relational intelligence. This isn't about being friendly or having good meeting etiquette. This is about your ability to build trust, navigate complex human dynamics, and create genuine influence. AI can analyze sentiment, but it can't build a relationship. Can't read the room during a tense negotiation. Can't sense when your colleague is struggling and needs support before they ask for it. Start documenting every interaction where human judgment made the difference. When you resolved a conflict, when you convinced a skeptical stakeholder, when you built a partnership that changed outcomes. These are your case studies. You need to become ruthless about showcasing not just what you delivered, but how your relational intelligence enabled it. Make this visible in your performance reviews. your LinkedIn profile, your internal reputation. Second pillar, contextual creativity. AI can generate options, but it can't understand the full context of your organization's culture, politics, history, and unwritten rules. You can. This is about taking your company's specific situation and creating solutions that work within that reality. Not generic best practices, but tailored strategies that account for why things are the way they are. Here's how you develop this. Every week, take one problem you're facing and force yourself to generate 3 solutions that are specifically designed for your organization's context. Not what works in theory, what works given your budget constraints, your team's capabilities, your leadership's priorities, and your company's risk tolerance. Document these and share them. Show people you're the one who understands the nuances that algorithms miss. Third pillar, ethical judgment. This is your superpower, and most people don't even realize it. AI operates on patterns and probabilities. It has no moral framework, no ability to consider long-term human impact, no capacity to say this is technically optimal but fundamentally wrong. You do. As AI makes more decisions, companies are going to desperately need humans who can evaluate whether those decisions align with values, ethics, and human well-being. Position yourself as the ethical checkpoint. When your team implements a new AI tool, be the person who asks the hard questions. How does this affect employees? What are the unintended consequences? Where do we need human oversight? This isn't about being anti-technology. It's about being pro-humanity. Companies that ignore this will face massive backlash and legal exposure. Be the person who helps them avoid that. Now let's get tactical. Here's your implementation plan for the next 90 days. Week 1 through 4, conduct a skills audit. List every task you do and honestly categorize it. Automatable, partially automatable, or requires human judgment. Be brutal. If a task is purely mechanical or follows a clear set of rules, AI will eventually do it better. Those are your at-risk activities. Week 5 through 8, shift your time allocation. For every hour you save by using AI tools on automatable tasks, invest that hour in the 3 pillars we discussed. Take on projects that require relationship building, contextual problem solving, or ethical decision making. Volunteer for the messy human stuff that everyone else avoids. That's where your value lives now. Week 9 through 12, rebrand yourself internally. Update how you talk about your work. Stop emphasizing how much you can process or how fast you deliver outputs. Start emphasizing the judgment calls you make, the relationships you leverage, and the contextual insights you provide. Change your language in meetings, emails, and presentations. Make sure leadership sees you as the human element that makes AI valuable, not the human element AI replaces. And here's the counterintuitive move that most people miss. Become the AI advocate in your organization. Learn the tools, champion their adoption, train your colleagues. It seems backwards, but think about it. It's a person who helps implement AI becomes essential to making AI work. You become the translator between technology and humanity. That's an irreplaceable position. Like and subscribe to KB Bluetree for more insightful content like this that actually moves your career forward. Success story. Let me tell you about Cody because his transformation proves this framework works. Cody was a data analyst at a mid-sized financial services company. Smart guy, great with spreadsheets, could build complex models in his sleep. But when his company started implementing AI analytics tools, he saw the writing on the wall. Everything he'd built his career on was about to be automated. Instead of panicking or resisting, Cody used the Human Edge framework. He started by volunteering to help implement the new AI tools, which gave him credibility and visibility. But here's the key move. While everyone else was focused on the technical capabilities, Cody focused on the human side. He identified which stakeholders were resistant and why. He built relationships with department heads to understand their actual needs beyond what they put in requirements documents. Then he positioned himself as the bridge. He wasn't just running analysis anymore. He was translating AI outputs into contextually relevant recommendations that accounted for company politics, risk tolerance, and strategic priorities. He became the person who could say the AI recommends X. But given our culture and current initiatives, here's why we should actually do Y. Within 8 months, Cody went from worrying about job security to getting promoted to a newly created role, Director of Analytics Strategy. His salary increased by 40%. But more importantly, he became completely irreplaceable because his value wasn't in processing data. It was in his judgment about how to use data within his organization's specific context. That's a human skill AI can't touch. Call to action. Here's what you're going to do today. Not tomorrow, today. Open a document and write down 3 situations in the last month where your human judgment made a difference that AI couldn't replicate. Identify the pattern. That's your irreplaceability profile. That's what you double down on. Then look at your calendar for next week and find 1 hour of automatable work. Use AI to do it faster and invest that saved time in a high judgment activity. Just 1 hour. Make your first step in the Human Edge framework. Small moves, massive impact over time. If this video helped you see your career differently, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe to KB Bluetree because we're not here to give you feel-good platitudes. We're here to give you strategies that actually work in the real world. Drop a comment telling me which of the 3 pillars you're going to focus on first. I read every comment, and I want to know what resonates with you. Remember this. AI isn't your enemy. Irrelevance is. You become irrelevant by trying to compete with machines at machine tasks. You become invaluable by leaning into what makes you human. The judgment, the empathy, the contextual creativity, the ethical reasoning. Those aren't soft skills, they're the hardest skills to replicate and the most valuable skills in an AI world. Stop trying to be a better processor and start being a better human. That's your career insurance policy. Now go build it.